In the African country of Uganda, United Methodist Women is helping rural women live healthier, happier lives.
My name is Nakamianet. I'm in a group of Neskokolima Men's group. This is my garden. In my garden, there is some little bananas. There is vegetables and some beans.
My name is Annette Nakamya, and I live in Kabalasoke in the Gomba district of Uganda. I work with the Intumule Village Women Development Association. I have learned in this project how to better grow food, and that helps my family. When we announced we were going away for a week to get training, many people said we were going to waste our time. But when we came back and started putting into practice what we had learned, everyone saw the results. Thanks to United Methodist Women, we got the seeds and tools we needed to get started. And now other women in the community are pushing to learn from us and start their own savings groups. Even our husbands have come to appreciate the work we're doing and what we have learned. Before, we never had vegetables in our meals, but now we have them as part of every meal. And the men are enjoying the food. We had bananas before, but we've learned how to grow them better, and the men are supportive of the women because they've seen the results of our work together. The children in our families are looking much better, and they're doing better in school. They never helped us in the garden before, but because they like vegetables, now they want to work in the garden with us. And because they're eating better, they are healthier. In our culture, the land belongs to the men. We women don't have the economic power to buy land on our own, yet it's we, the women, who are the ones responsible for educating the children. So the money we earn goes first to the education of our children. The women in our project receive training about domestic violence, so we aren't victims any longer. We were trained in how to reduce domestic violence in the home and where to go when there's a problem.
Sisi Nyarwa is program coordinator of the Netumule Village Women Development Association.
So Annette says she also has, though this is grown nakati, it's a green vegetable, it's called nakati locally. And she has already harvested some for this meal today. So she has also prepared, there is a nursery here for spinach. So, for eggplant. So after that, when they grow, they will be able to transplant it from here. There are many issues the women in the countryside face, and one of them is women don't own the land. The land belongs to the men, and when the men will own the land, that means whatever they grow on that land belongs to them as well. So women find it very difficult, especially when they have grown food and they cannot be able to sell it because it is not on their own land. So that's one of the big challenges, and that causes a lot of domestic violence, arguments around the issues. And also, women actually had given up on growing food. One of the big challenges is soil infertility. So one of the reasons why we had to take them for training was to give them other methods they can be able to use, especially when the soil has lost this fertility, so that they can be able to practice other methods. Like we train them in using compost manure, that is growing food organically, and also making some fertilizers from the organic materials, and that's how we've been training them. And another issue we train them is about creating awareness about land, so that they can understand how they can negotiate to use the family land. Of course, there was some family land which was being unutilized, but of course, building their confidence gave them opportunity to be able to seek for permission to use that land. And some of the women are using that land and now expanding on their food production. And also the challenge was they were not enjoying a balanced diet. So one of the areas also handled was training them in how to grow vegetables And most of our beneficiaries are growing vegetables, various vegetables, so they are enjoying their meals this time. So before they were just eating one meal per day because they had really had insufficient food for the households, but now they are enjoying 2 meals a day and 3 sometimes, depending on the opportunities of time also to preparing the meals. So those are some of the areas we've been working on.
We thank our sisters, United Methodist Women's, for helping us.
Another program in Uganda is fighting financial illiteracy among rural women, where HIV and AIDS have ravaged families, leaving many households to be headed by children or by widows scraping together the food and other resources they need to feed and educate the children in their care. With support from United Methodist Women's call to prayer and self-denial, women and youth developed goals and prepared budgets and are now keeping track of their personal finances. Many women involved in the program have joined self-help savings groups. Rosemary Nakajoba is director of the Good Samaritan Women's Project.
Our overall aim is to support the women who have been affected by HIV/AIDS. Some of them are widows and have a number of orphans and vulnerable children. So we actually aim at supporting the orphans and vulnerable children, the widows themselves through livelihoods, through agriculture and farming, and to make sure that they have enough income, they have or they are able to meet their basic needs. So what have we done with these women? These women were trained in 12 parishes, and they were able to form self-help groups. Part of the group, one of the group is in the background there. They are able to save weekly. They bring savings. Each contributes a sum of 2,000 Uganda shillings. And they have explained clearly that they put the money together, and each week 2 members of the self-help group take the money to meet their basic needs and then to add in their farming and agriculture activities. The widows face a number of challenges. Some of them are very old. They have a lot of work that they have to do. Now that it is even rainy season, they have to go to their gardens. Before they do that, they have the children to prepare them in school to make sure that the children are able to study. But also their contribution is to make sure that the children have school fees. So in so doing, they have that big challenge because you find a family which has about 7 to 8 children. All of them are orphans, and they are supposed to go to school. Feeding them is not easy because you have to have enough through farming to feed them. They also take food to school. They need the food to take. They need the scholastic materials. They need all their other basic needs, including the healthy needs. If they are sick, they need to go to the hospital. So you just imagine one widow taking care of the 7 and meet all those basic needs in a home. It is not that easy. So it also has some psychological implications to that very widow and the children. In terms of power, in terms of, we have seen that families that have had financial literacy, where the widow, where the woman has been trained on financial literacy, she is able to work well with the husband and the children. There is happiness in the home because the woman has something to contribute in terms of money to meet the basic needs in the home. However, others explain that, especially when we do the family visits, they explain that it is very hard because when you open up with your monies to your husband, you find that he's very wise. He takes advantage of you, and he uses the money for whatever he wants to use it for, not benefiting the whole family. And that when you go to the local council to report the case, it becomes also hard because you find that you are arguing with your husband and spoiling the relationship in the home. So it is quite challenging, but we need to continue to sensitize the women to understand their role, but also how beneficial it is if they persuade their husbands to work together with them. Thank you, United.